Welcome to POMpod. I'm Travis with Gasper Law, where we explore the human side of estate planning and what really shapes the legacies we leave behind. Today's topic is both fascinating and a little counterintuitive: the relationship between wealth and empathy. Research suggests that as wealth increases, empathy often declines. It sounds like a cliche, but the data is striking. And it matters when we think about how we plan, protect, and provide for our loved ones. Psychologists at UC Berkeley have tested whether wealth influences compassion and ethical behavior. The results: wealthier participants were consistently less empathetic and more likely to bend rules. In one study, researchers observed drivers at intersections. Luxury car drivers were far more likely to cut others off or roll through crosswalks, even after making eye contact with pedestrians. Another experiment used a rigged Monopoly game. One player started with more money, rolled two dice instead of one, and couldn't lose. Those advantaged players quickly became louder, more boastful, and even took more snacks from the table. When they won, they credited their own skill instead of acknowledging the unfair setup. Other studies found similar patterns. Wealthier participants cheated in unwinnable games for cash. They took candy from jars labeled for children. They were more likely to say greed was good. Meanwhile, lower income participants gave proportionately more to charity, shared more in lab games, and scored higher on the ability to read others' emotions. Even physiologically, differences appeared. When shown videos of children battling cancer, lower income participants showed slower heart rates, a sign of empathy and attunement. Higher income participants didn't show the same response. So, why does this happen? One explanation is independence. With more resources, you don't need to rely on others as much. You can pay for help instead of depending on community ties. Over time, that self sufficiency can weaken empathy. There's also a cultural layer. Messages that self interest is a virtue can reinforce the mindset. And biologically, acquiring money lights up the brain's reward circuits, making people want more, sometimes at the expense of relationships. But here's the key: this isn't destiny. Wealth doesn't doom anyone to be unkind. Many wealthy people are extraordinarily generous. And when prompted to take others' perspectives, empathy is just as strong across all income levels. Empathy is a skill, it can be cultivated. So, how does this connect to estate planning? On the surface, estate planning looks technical: wills, trusts, tax strategies. But at its core, it's about people, values, and legacies. Affluent individuals often focus on efficiency and preservation of wealth. Middle income families often focus on fairness and avoiding conflict. These are just different starting points. And for LGBTQ plus families and other diverse structures, inclusive language and recognition of chosen family are absolutely critical. A plan has to reflect the real relationships that matter most. So, how do you build empathy into your planning? Reframe the questions. Don't just ask, "What assets do I have?" Ask, "What legacy do I want to leave?" Use inclusive language. Think in terms of partners, beneficiaries, and chosen family. Listen actively. Notice details. Ask clarifying questions and create space for sensitive conversations. Balance efficiency with humanity. Reframe technical strategies in terms of their human impact, like education for grandchildren or support for a cause. Reflect on tough choices. If you're considering unequal inheritances, pause and ask how it aligns with your values and family dynamics. Protect yourself too. Securing your own retirement is also an act of love. And remember, legacy isn't just money. Keepsakes, letters, and memories can be just as powerful. Here's the takeaway: wealth can shape empathy, but empathy is the equalizer. Estate planning isn't just about dividing assets, it's about expressing who you are and what you value. By bringing compassion into your planning, you can create a legacy that reflects not just your resources, but your heart. Thank you for joining me today on POMpod. I'm Travis with Gasper Law, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the human side of planning and the choices that shape our future.